Love you, bro.
The guy! Oh my
Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Hey, if you get a chance, could you give me a call back, please?
You
Love you,
gotta
bro.
run,
I want
Jeremy.
to talk to you about the house. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro.
Hi, I'm Trevor.
Hi. Whoa, I don't know why that sounded so weird. Hi, I'm John. Just
Good
keep
to hear
going.
from you. Okay.
Hi,
Like
I'm
you're-
Weston.
yeah.
Listen, it's my turn to talk. Hi, I'm Weston.
Weston is on the podcast. You were supposed to be in for an episode forever ago, like episode 5 or something like that. And
It went so bad. You guys
it was
didn't air
last January
It
because
was.
we were filming Vienna, and we just stopped in the middle, like, we'll try again some other time. And this is that other time. Here we
A
are.
year later.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had like a complete brain failure there when you said your name was Trevor. It just struck me wrong for some reason. Because you're totally Trevor. You're 100% Trevor.
Mike.
but yeah.
Tripped
Yeah,
up.
maybe it's the tape on your wall that says Mikey because your family calls you Mikey.
Yeah.
And that also
And the kids
threw
in my
me
house
off
will call me
completely. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a callback.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, so we're sitting here. We got Weston. We are eating McDonald's. Unlike the diner episode, I never really apologized for all the food noises.
We kind of apologized for it.
Well, you're gonna get it again for sure.
I'll kind of like stay away from Mike while I eat.
Okay.
So, just a quick little start off with the McDonald's. I was driving there after I got off of work because I wanted to grab some before I came over.
Right.
And I went up to the drive-thru and I ordered my food. And when I got to the window, it was this little lady, and I'd seen her there before. And she tells me my
over by right here?
yeah,
Okay.
and she tells me my amount, and I was like, okay. And so I handed my card, and she's sitting there, and she grabs the receipt, and then this little slip here, which is earn rewards now. It's like a little McDonald's rewards thing.
Yes.
And she goes, you need to check this out. I know that you're here like all the time. So,
Oh,
and I was like, wow, that was just like, she did not have to say that to me.
No, she didn't.
No, she's like,
You need to
"Here you go,
check this out."
Here you go, fatty. Like, here's your little coupon. You want to get rewards with your McDonald's? And I was like, dude, she could have just handed it to me and just not even said that. You know, give me the reward still, but not say anything. But she had to just like, I know how much you're here. I was like, okay.
I definitely don't think I've lived here long enough to have any establishment be like, hey, there's that guy, you know. But I think the last one I would want it to be
Right. I feel
is
like
the place where I come to
Right.
like purge burgers into my gut.
I feel like there's like achievements you unlock for how fat you are. Like there's some billboard out there that just got all of the achievements for being fat, and I just unlocked a new one that's like being recognized at your local McDonald's by all the employees.
Well, you know who's not fat? LeBron James and Serena Williams.
You're
They
right.
are super athletic.
Yeah.
And I read a thing today. It ended up being false, but I read it and I thought it was really interesting that a Russian billionaire offered $1 billion to each of them to breed, to make a super athlete.
Like those two together.
Yeah, to make a super athlete.
Aren't they both
He would
married?
Just, yeah.
Oh
He was
my
offering
God.
them so much money so that they would breed. He could have the kid and train a
Do you
super competitor.
do you think for like a split second they both just sat there and were like, you know,
Right, it
like
ended up-
contemplating it?
It ended up being false, but
like a fake article,
yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
an Onion or something.
right, but something like that. But it just got me thinking, like, how much would you pay for a super athlete?
God, that's a really fucking good question.
Yeah, or how much would someone have to pay you to breed with someone else, to just like
Oh.
an animal?
Well, that one.
That was another thing that was like up with the article. Is like, is this bad? They're
There's-
both black.
There's so much that goes into it because is it like
Right.
a lab creation or are we doing it
Oh, you're
like
doing
the
it.
God
Oh, no,
given
you're doing
way?
Yeah,
I guess it would just like
No genetic.
there would have to be a
enhancements.
lot of factors I would have to like consider, like that you pay them to breed, but then do they keep the kid?
no, you keep the kid.
You keep the kid.
Yeah, they're married. They have
So,
their own
and so
families.
you have to raise your kid and train him to be the super athlete.
So it's
Right.
almost
What
like
if the kid just turns out to be a fucking bum? Then you've just
That's a
spent
risk you're taking.
millions. Okay, then no, I would absolutely not roll the dice on that.
That's almost like the Nathan for you, like
'Cause he's
when
not
he's
even gonna
trying
be-
to sign little kids
Right.
for sports to be like when they're major athletes. If they turn out to be famous, that
Right.
he has to have them on a contract. That's kind of the same thing
A
when
little
you're
bit.
like you're just gonna have to you're creating a life for a purpose, which I think a lot of people will find a huge problem with.
Right. And the kid, especially when the kid grows up.
Yeah, let alone. And then that kid also, yeah, like he's saying, that does damage towards him in the way of how much you push that. Like, you are literally bred to be the super athlete.
I know. Could you imagine being raised?
Maybe he or she wants to play the violin or be on the stage or, be a homeless person.
You sure? Yeah, I think everybody wants to do that. Anyways.
There was something that you
like
told
a Steve Rogers like homeless person though.
Oh my god.
There was something you said you wanted to talk about on Caps Off, and I'm not sure if you still do. But recently we did shrooms together.
Yeah.
And that was my second shroom trip, your first shroom trip, and you said you had a lot to say. John here is no stranger to psychedelics, so
I'm shy.
okay.
No. Yeah, it was really interesting because there were a lot of us there. It was you, me. I don't know if the other parties want to be mentioned, but there was 5 of us there, and I just remember wanting to experience them as heavily as I could the first time I was doing them, and just like have.
You sat on the floor listening to music the entire time.
Exactly.
You barely spoke to us.
Exactly, because my reasoning behind that is like I wanted to experience the trip without trying to force my brain to sit down and focus on like maintaining a conversation or conversation topics or like trying to figure out things to do. I just wanted to sit down with music and just experience that ethereal plane that you coast through when you try mushrooms.
That's
especially
definitely not the wrong way to approach it.
Right.
I just say it's kind of weird when you do it in a group of people.
Oh, right,
You're
and
just
that
kinda
was
sitting
another
there
thing.
rocking back and
I
forth.
wasn't even rocking. At one point, I just ended up laying down, and I was sitting there. Oh my god, I'm a fucking pig, dude. There's ranch all
You
over
deserve
me.
that fucking coupon.
No, but I just laid down at one point and just turned on. Everybody knows Pink Floyd. Trevor showed me the song called Echoes.
Yeah.
I just turned on Echoes and laid on the floor and went into this trance. And I looked at Otto, which is your
my
cat.
cat, yeah.
And I looked at the vent on the floor, and it looked as if Otto was sitting over the vent because he knew there was something in the vent. And so I was like, I know that you know that there's something in there, Otto.
You're like on the same way.
Yes, and I was looking at him and I was like, I know you understand me, And so I just went off into my own world and I was like, I just want to relax as much as I can and just let the psychedelics take me. And so Trevor's familiar with this. I just have like pages in my notes of just writing every thought I could put down on paper, and it's because that was the only way I could express how I was feeling. And so much of it is just like, we have Weston, he's warm, he's safe, please don't bother him.
Yeah,
And it was just like, oh my god.
I really want to say like that's a great idea. I feel like a lot of people think that when they trip on any kind of psychedelic, like I need to capture this somehow. I should write this down, and then a lot of times they regret because they like might have had an epiphany. Like I've had that before, have some kind of epiphany, and then
You told me the
don't-
first time you did LSD, you solved every problem you ever had.
Oh yeah, I literally got
forgot.
the question to the biggest question is like, what's the meaning of life? And then
You figured it out?
I figured it out, and then it was gone. And actually, I did acid within the past 2 years, and it came back again. And it was a lot more simple this time. And I kind of felt dumb. I'm not going to get into it right now because I feel like it'll just sound like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But the point is
that,
yeah.
He's like, can you get into this? And he's just...
But yeah, the point is, I feel like it, for the most part, is a good idea to have that. Like, I'm going to write this down. But yeah, most people experience what you experience is just like, I'm not really getting much substance out of this.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it
there
made
was
sense at the
so
time.
much. I wrote down so much, and it made sense to me at the time. And I guess it's not that it doesn't make sense now, because you can see where I was.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can see where I was, but it's like I was being held by somebody that was not me.
Well, a lot of your writings kind of reflected that.
Yeah.
As you said, we have
him.
Weston, or we're giving him back now.
Right. Weston would like to come back to the light now. That was one of the sentences in that. And it was just like, oh my god, what had me,
But you wouldn't classify it as like a bad trip.
Oh,
whatsoever,
no, absolutely
you had a
not.
good
I just,
time.
yeah. I made sure I had a good time. You okay? Did you just break the chair?
No, it's been broken.
I believe that.
Everybody had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody had a basically good time. You
Yeah. The issue, not yeah. Anyways,
I'll bleep that out.
okay. One of the party, they don't like being not in control of their body,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
shrooms really do that to you. They really make you like they'll
It's
make
the
muscle
wrong
twitches.
territory you're walking into.
Yeah,
if you're one of those
exactly.
people,
And so
I'd
they just
say.
didn't recognize it. Yeah, they just didn't recognize the feeling. Because
Yeah.
they tried, weed, and that's totally different.
Yeah, it's a good
So-
place to start. But
Yeah, totally different feeling. And so they just didn't like losing complete control. But
I understand.
it was like 50-50, So like 50% they were coasting, having a good time, and then the other half they were like, what's going on with my body,
Yeah, the first time my wife did mushrooms, she didn't really have a good time at all, and I had a good time, and then ever since we've kind of, and that's the only person I've ever really done it with, so except for like a few people here and there, but like,
Right.
consistently, my wife is my my psychedelic partner
That's fun.
whenever it comes about. I'm sure I'll get back and do it again when my son is in high school,
Right.
and doesn't need my attention at like a drop of a dime.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she came along to it eventually, but the first time just was not very good for her at all.
I feel like that's not uncommon too, because it's super new. It's
kinda-
not like anything
yeah.
you've ever felt.
Well, see, the funny thing is we had done acid, which is
Oh,
a lot more intense, and
She
I
had a
didn't
good-
understand why she wasn't coming around to it, because she has been 4, maybe 5 times
Wow.
more into a psychedelic
Yeah.
than what the mushrooms
Yeah.
we had taken. I think she was just kind of, because it's all about headspace before you go in. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of
Yeah.
people don't really comprehend is like, because I've done acid where times it affects me completely, and then one time I did it, I was at a party like right outside of high school, and something right when I got to the party happened with like a friend, and it pissed me off so much, and I was just sitting there steaming, and someone's like, got acid, take it. I'm like, yeah, I want that, because like I wanted to just
Right.
forget it, but I didn't forget it. I just kept stewing about it, and I went through the whole trip not really experiencing any of it, because it just kind of amplified my anger.
really?
So I just kind of kept to myself with
For
like
8
my arms
hours.
crossed,
You just-
in the corner, just with while this party is going on in front of me, and I'm just like,
Sheesh.
yeah.
I really
But,
want to try acid, and I'm thinking about doing it like this month. And I mentioned it to Weston. I was like, yeah, I think I want to do that with like John and Tommy.
That's
you
all
know?
I need to hear. Book them.
And Weston was like, okay, cool, just let me know. And I was like, oh, I was just thinking about it being just me and me, John, and Tommy. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he went and told Tommy, I think Trevor just wants to do it before me.
Oh, really?
He did.
Okay.
Tommy told me this the same day.
Great.
And I was like, I'm gonna save that for caps off. See what that's about.
Oh, boy.
You can see what that's about. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like it was
I
coming off
promise
as.
you, that's not what it was.
Oh, okay.
I
That's how it came off.
It's not. You know, I have to do this first, Weston. Like, I promise you, it wasn't that.
Do you think that stems from like the weed thing? Because you guys smoked together first, but one of you didn't.
He
right?
was smoking long before I was.
Oh, okay. So yeah, does it stem from that? You think like if you guys feel like you have to beat each other at
I don't
things?
think so. That's
I feel
not
like you
right.
guys are naturally competitive at almost anything. So
I'll take a
This isn't
solid
far
stance
off
right
of
here.
what your
I am
regular
not
thing
the
is.
first one to be competitive. Out of the two of us, it's always you.
That's
Don't
not
say
very.
it's always, because at this
Usually.
point it's such a back and forth that
Not
there was
often,
one
though.
instance probably that started competitiveness, but I don't think it's
It's not very.
for him to be like,
sportsmanship,
yeah, for him
of
to
either of you.
I'm more competitive than you.
So, do you think this comes as like so people who know you, Trevor?
yeah.
Do you think this comes as a shock? Because just recently, in the last episode, we kind of, for the first time, really started openly talking about you just smoking weed as it is,
Right.
and that's because
A year
it's
ago,
kind of
I
less
had
scandalous
experienced
now.
zero inebriation at all. I
Yeah.
had never touched any. I had never touched weed.
And you're
or any
you're
sort
doing
of alcohol.
stepping stone one after another of
Right.
them. Like somebody said in your life that weed's a gateway drug, and you fucking kick the gate open.
Well, not really. I'm not doing like
right.
coke.
Yeah.
I like psychedelics. I can never see myself doing anything past coke. So like heroin or I've been offered coke several times, and I just
so coke's a maybe for now.
It's a definite no.
Okay. That's good.
Even though I've heard from several people that it's not nearly as bad as it's hyped up to be, but I just don't want to touch it,
A lot of easy addiction and a lot of deterioration to your body. Not something you just want to play around with. It. You're either in or you're out, I think.
My biggest thing right now is I used to be so against these things, and now I'm much less so, obviously. But I just kind of, the place I'm at right now is I want to do them because I want to do them, not because I need to do them. The moment I'm like, fuck, I'm having a rough night, I gotta have a drink. It's becoming a crutch, and that's where it's got to stop. So I as long as it stays in the realm of like I'm doing this because it's my decision and I'm in a good spot to do this, and not like I need this to get through the day, then I'm fine. I'm good with it.
Yeah, Isaiah. I hope you hear this.
You have known him far longer than I've known him. What do you think about the whole like evolution he's making?
I don't know.
Do you blame me entirely? I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, he's been friends with druggies his entire time that I've known him.
I have to remind myself that sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, I did this, oh no, I did this.
No, I think there's not really any credit due. I think it was just a matter of time before Trevor wanted to try something.
Right.
Because when I first met him, there was never a chance in the world that he was ever going to, drink or anything with me.
Met, it was sophomore year, right?
Your sophomore year, my junior year, yeah. There was not a chance in the world that he was ever going to drink, and around that time, I hadn't actually done anything too bad either. But yeah, he was real straight edge, and then I think that weed was still. I don't think you even wanted to try weed. I think
it was off the table till like December of last year. Last year.
Yeah. And Isaiah had been trying to convince him since they were in high school.
And
he wasn't. See that? I was kind of shocked at how like he went from being so solid about it to just kind of slowly being like, well, all right, and not it being completely because of Isaiah.
Yeah.
And Isaiah wasn't trying to convince me like, come on, Trevor, you gotta do it. But he was just like if you ever want to try it,
come to me, right? Yeah.
And I talked to him. Him and Olivia were at my house a couple weeks ago. And they were telling me about like he felt so angry because I had like declined it for so long, and then John just swooped in and just took it all away.
Stuff like that makes me feel bad because I'm like,
he was like, Trevor was mine.
I must have said something that swayed the guy. Yeah. Like he was so like strong-headed about it until I came fucking like.
I think that there was a real sense of independence that you came across, and you were like, I can do whatever I want to, and as long as you're smart about it, you know that it's not going to come back at you negatively.
Right.
So,
and I feel like he does that with so many different things, like not even just drugs, just like anything that he kind of has.
People he meets on the street, he just meets a stranger, he's like, fuck you, I'm never going to see you again. And then just comes home and is like, nobody's ever going to know.
But eventually he sees that guy again, and he doesn't go up to that guy, but he gives him a little nod like, you're all right, guy.
You know that I know you.
If I'm honest, I kind of picked you out of spite. Because I was very friendly with you. We were becoming close friends. But there was I had considered trying it toward like the end of my senior year, and I wanted to do it with Weston for the first time. And Weston had a lot going on, and I don't blame him, but he was like I would really like to get this done, and I'm free right now. So him and Isaiah smoked. And then at that point, something flipped in my brain because I was, I don't know, fucky-wuckied. I don't know. Something flipped in my brain, and I was like, fuck that guy. We were supposed to do this together. And I started dating Caroline, and I was like, well, now we can do this together. And she just
Round 2.
Did it without me, and I was like, fuck. Well, now I gotta do something. Like when I get around to this, it's gotta be someone totally removed. It's got to be special. And John, my first time was with you, and I don't regret it right now.
When you guys aren't friends in a couple of years.
I should have given it to Isaiah.
Sometimes it takes
your virginity.
time for you to regret a rebound.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It'll come
Rebound
in
friend.
time. Yeah.
Sticking around for a long time, John.
But yeah, so now I'm just much more comfortable about it.
Yeah.
There are people, I hear a lot of people who are like, yeah, I don't like smoking on my own. I love smoking on my own, almost more than smoking with people.
I used to kind of be like that. Not like I wouldn't do it on my own, but there came a point where right before I moved, I quit my job a few months earlier because I had a different way of making money. So I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to stay here. And Alyssa stayed there, so I was at home a lot. And so I would usually wait to smoke until she came home. And it was mostly out of courtesy, so I'm not just like going through it all while she's hard at work. But at the same time, it's just like there was something about the ceremony of it all, of like her coming home and us sitting down almost cross-legged apart from each other and winding down, you know, almost like a lot of adults would use like wine or something like now, like a beer or something like that, just kind of wind down and then go on with the rest of your day. So it came largely a part of that, but I do like smoking alone too. That's cool.
Especially especially with the Multiverse and how often I just how much of my time I'm spending just sitting behind the computer editing. It's nice to feel nice while I'm doing that, because that can get kind of boring, especially, you know, syncing audio and stuff just kind of gets like, ugh.
So I feel like I don't know if you really answered my question, but do you think this comes as a shock to some of the listeners, especially ones that you don't like?
I think at this point,
use this podcast as a way to keep tabs on you.
I don't think there's really that many people like that. I think
how many people do you think are just like, I gotta know exactly what he's doing?
I'm not that popular of a guy.
Like name drop JP, like he's not around right now, but you know he might talk to you a little bit on DMs and stuff like that. But you don't hang out with each other, you don't see each other every day. So this is kind of like what Trevor he gets is, if he were to message you directly, then he gets whatever you give him, or he gets whatever he hears on the podcast.
Well,
right,
but I don't give him like this this caricature version of myself.
No, but everybody, the way you think of people is the last time you saw them. So everybody has this
like
image
him and I have
built.
talked about this sort of thing.
True. So I guess that's what I'm saying is like it takes certain steps. I know you don't have these certain steps with everybody. You're like, smoke weed for the first time last night.
I think everyone who listens to Caps Off probably already knows. I mean, our biggest fans are like, at least on my side, like Dylan, Robert, and Sean, and they all know. It's no fucking secret.
I hope on my side it's as entertaining for them as it is for me, because it really is like it's for as long as I've known you, which hasn't even been that long. It's been a fucking roller coaster.
2.5 years, you know,
for a character. Yeah, for a character arc though.
Right.
And I feel like that's a topic we probably fucking hammer the hell out of, but I
I
find it really interesting sometimes.
Oh my god, there's so much happening right now in terms of like my character arc. Like things from the beginning of my arc are coming back, and I'm like almost re-experiencing them now. And we touched on like last week whether I was like a Vader or an Anakin right now.
Yeah,
I definitely think it's an Anakin, because I think there was a lot of times where either my fear of inebriation or my fear of getting hurt really caused me to throw away a lot of stuff and do a lot of awful things.
Anger.
Right.
Anger
and
leads to hate.
It made me do a lot of
so
bad things
Not at
in the name of doing good. You know, one of those, the road to hell is paved with good intentions type things. So.
Yeah.
Also in the name of love.
Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely. Speaking of segues, we're thinking about buying some vans.
Yeah, we were. I mentioned this to John earlier and showed him
my
some
God,
pictures.
those vans
They're
are
nice
incredible.
fucking
They're
vans.
so cool. Yeah. Anyways, for the listeners, Trevor and I, he mentioned to me through a friend that mentioned it to him that just down the road from both of us, there is a yard that this mechanic owns, and he's just put all of these different kinds of vehicles in the yard.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's going to fix them up I'm sure as every mechanic says at some point in their life.
Right.
And he's got 2 Toyota van wagons around the same year. They look like 1985, 1989. That's what I kind of take from it.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And after some speculation, I talked to Trevor, and we went up to the house and talked to the wife, and she's going to try and convince him to sell them to us.
And we have
because
big ideas for these
such
vans.
big
Oh,
ideas.
yeah.
I'm
We're
sure-
hoping to get them cheap because they're
Super cheap.
real run down. Well, not
Yeah.
run down, but like one of them doesn't run.
One of them doesn't, and the
Yeah,
other
it's got-
one barely runs.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll talk. We'll see if we can talk him down. I haven't received a call yet.
I'm not even a car person, but I've never been this excited about a vehicle. And I want to put,
Yeah,
like
well-
we were
They're
talking about, like
pretty cool
shag
looking.
carpet in
Right.
it, paint it all sexy,
Yeah.
maybe like flash colors.
And I think part of
so
the
much you could do.
Yeah, I think part of the fantasy too is especially the this aesthetic is really being brought back in today's culture because you see it all the time on social media. People renovating old antique vans and
Yeah.
just putting beds in them and buses, you know, and then just
My parents are doing it right now with a trailer.
right, exactly. You know, and it's just something I think everybody wants to do at least once is just be able to travel in something that they made, you know.
And
it's
getting
like,
these matching vans is not our first A+ idea.
No,
'Cause
it
there's
is
something
not.
I've been
No,
holding off
it
from
is
telling
not.
you about, John, because I wanted to tell you on this
I
episode
can't
right
wait.
now.
I can't wait.
Have you ever wanted to go and experience some kind of different climate while you're pumping iron? Is that something that happens to you, John? You ever walk into a gym and you're like, God, this place is just so
Yeah, this is such a gym.
plain. This is just bland old gym with the same old weights.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, let us tell you about the jungle gym.
Ooh, the jungle. This is
The
exciting.
jungle gym.
it is exciting.
It is our gym idea that I think if I'm not successful as a filmmaker, I'll open this gym, and if I am successful as a filmmaker, I'll grab a big lump sum of money and open this gym.
Okay.
So it's gonna happen either way, but it's a gym that's like jungle themed, like rainforest jungle themed, where there's like tree canopies and everything hanging down from the ceiling, vines that you can climb. Every piece of workout equipment is like painted to
Right,
look like
trees
yeah,
and-
like
and-
trees and brush and stuff.
Is it going to be humid like a jungle?
That is a horrible idea, John. That's why you're not a part of it.
Have you ever been in a jungle? Are you gonna put like humidifiers everywhere?
No.
We are gonna have constant music playing with all with jungle themed music, like "Welcome to the Jungle," "Africa" by Toto.
Right. You know, we
songs
gotta
like
get-
that.
Just those
Right.
two back to back.
right. And it's going to be like kind of a darker environment. And we have this idea that when somebody's coming in and we know that they're going to hit a new PR, and if you don't know what PR is, it's just maxing out on a certain piece of equipment. Whenever somebody comes in and it's known that they're going to do that, the music's going to stop. And thunder and lightning and like rain is going to play over the speakers to show that
touch with
somebody's
your-
doing something big.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, it's I don't know if we'll
human
do
nature.
like spotlights or something like that, but everybody in the gym's gonna know somebody's hitting a new max today.
Okay. Back of the gym, right? The back of the no, the front desks are safari
Completely-
jeeps.
completely
Yeah.
run by apes.
There are going to be
Throwing
statues.
notebooks and
But
pens.
there's
and
gonna be
stuff.
statues,
Yeah,
absolutely.
animal statues.
We gotta have a gato statue, just like a
gato?
little golden gato. That's like
Cat?
You've never heard that lore that there's. Oh, you've never seen the rundown. Sorry, don't mind that.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah, the front desks are safari jeeps.
The Rundown, is that one movie with
The Rock.
Jim
yeah.
Halpert.
yeah, I was gonna
It's
say.
so good. Have you seen it? You should watch it.
I don't
if you
think I
haven't.
have, but that's
It's a great film, and a lot of people won't think so, but I
is
enjoyed it.
that movie's on your wall of movies, right? That
Oh,
big ass
absolutely.
wall. I knew
Yeah,
it. There's
yeah.
probably so many movies that I think this is just that topic we were talking about the other day with the movie trailers. And how there's just so
I
many
have so
that
many
come
of
and
those
go, and there's
dumbass
just
like Hallmark films with
Yeah.
the poor trailers. I don't want to stray too far away from the jungle gym because we're going
Right.
to jump onto a whole new
Right,
topic.
right.
Anyways, at the front of the gym, safari jeeps for the front desks.
Yeah, in the back, the back there's a wall. There's a wall, and there's 3 trees on the wall for each of the 3 main lifts, so squats, deadlifts, and bench press. And there's like weight numbers going up each tree, and when you sign up, you get a little name tag, and you put it wherever your max is. So as you progress in your fitness journey, you can see yourself
Right.
climbing the tree.
You climb the tree of maxes.
And on either
Wow.
side of the trees, there's 2 doorways, tunnels. One of them is called the cave, and that leads to your locker rooms, your bathrooms, and stuff. The other one's called the lagoon, and that's where you go to your saunas,
Your steam rooms, your
Yeah.
spas, all that stuff.
I gotta say, guys, this idea is sounding pretty wild.
Isn't it?
There's a second story, which is the cardio
Yes.
room, which is African savannah themed.
Right, it's gonna be like cheetahs and stuff all over the
Predators.
place.
To
You know,
motivate
you're
you.
training your endurance so you can attack.
Discovery Channel on the TVs in there and
Absolutely,
shit.
yeah. Bear Grylls and
Nice.
we'll bring in Crocodile Dundee and
You'll bring in people?
yes. Well, he's
course.
he's
What does
we can't
Crocodile
bring
Dundee
him.
have to do with athletics, though? He's more
he's-
for the wild aspect.
Okay,
So?
try this one on for
We're
size.
killing the
I'm
boat.
gonna grow my hair back out and cosplay as Tarzan.
Okay.
And I'll swing around
You're
the gym while people are
Getting
working out.
somewhere.
There you go.
And
right?
you could
Uh,
throw out, like, samples for, like, protein bars and stuff.
Right. Oh! How did I forget the smoothie bar?
The smoothie bar and
Yeah.
a restaurant attached. And we're only going to be serving like meal prepped things, that have all of the nutrition count right
But they're all
displayed
going to be
for you.
like Jungle Island themed.
Right,
Right.
they have to be. And the chances of this are low, but anybody listening, if you steal
Cheetah
this
meat
idea,
burgers.
we will come after you.
Yeah, we have it out right now on recording that this is our idea,
Our
and our
idea.
intellectual property.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you, psilocybin, for this wonderful idea.
What's it called again?
The
The
Jungle,
Jungle
Gym.
Gym.
Oh, right. How could I fucking forget that?
I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. So,
That's I think it's a brilliantly
It's a very
simple,
great idea.
yeah, it's
name.
like a rainforest cafe gym. That's kind of the idea.
Right.
And so we looked up, and there's one other jungle gym in the United States, and it's in Missouri, and it's a little play place for children. So we're
perfect.
okay. Yeah,
But
we're okay.
like the things that kids
go in
climb
there
on
and
are called
evict
jungle
them
gyms
and
anyway,
you'll
which
be
is
good
why
to
it's such a
go.
good name.
It is such a good name. So big ideas in the making.
Oh yeah, employee wear is like my Hawaiian shirt with the parrots on it. It's like stuff like that. Stuff that's
Wouldn't they just like wear the safari garb, kind of like what a mailman
You
wears,
could.
but tan?
You could. That's part of it.
What's the
yeah.
hat?
Yeah, but I think it's cooler to.
They can have binoculars.
I like the Hawaiian shirts.
I like the
I
Hawaiian
still like the
shirts, too.
safari hat though.
Me too. We had this idea that we find things that are super form fitting. So like all of our Hawaiian shirts, just you see our muscles just bulging out of
Right.
our Hawaiian shirts, and that's a need to be right
Nice.
there. Yeah. So it's
I'd
our
buy it.
plan because there is a pretty decent chance that if you move to LA, you're moving to LA in a year,
Yeah.
and my future wife and I want to move to Southern Oregon possibly. And that's one of the prospects we're looking at. So if that's the case, we're going to be with, Phoenix, maybe a little bit longer drive, to each other. And we would just commute back and forth to the gym.
Yeah.
So big ideas in the making right now.
That's our big one.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
the
the
big
van.
one.
I have
Yeah.
faith in this idea. That's awesome.
I can't
Us
wait
too.
for the vans.
Oh my
I'm
God,
gonna
me
name
either.
mine like the Shagmobile or
Yeah.
Gabby said the Shaggin' Wagon.
I was
That's
thinking
also a good name.
about naming mine Ferguson.
That's not very groovy.
Like you're right, it's not.
That's not very groovy at all.
No. The Murph Turf.
Good one.
Thanks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we got some good ideas in the works right now.
We gotta study up on jungles, and possibly we could probably have like an ocean themed room if we had a pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Speaking of ocean themed things, and studying that, you and I had an argument recently about.
A marine biologist. We
Yeah,
sure did.
and you
I
said
thought,
their work
okay,
is not very
listen.
important.
I'm going to give them the first scoop so I things aren't misconstrued here. I thought marine biologists were paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. I thought that their pay was outrageous. Yeah.
You said-
Laugh it up. Laugh it up. I thought that they were paid so much money because my whole life I've always... because every time I've had friends that have told me in the past, I want to become a marine biologist when I'm older because it pays super well and I get to do everything I've ever loved. And I've just been like, that just does not seem
You said
important
something
enough
to me like
to
you,
receive hundreds of thousands of dollars for.
like you said we should take the money from marine biologists and NFL players and give it to microbiologists or something.
No,
like
that is not what I said. No, okay. I'll have any argument with you and be like, at one point I could have sworn you said burn babies in trash cans. I just remember that. At least once you said that. And you'll just,
I'm sure it would have been a great argument if it wasn't just thrown in there.
I'll
just like, well, he said this.
I'll take it at the beginning and just let the crowd know I was wrong about a marine biologist.
Right.
Okay, I was dead wrong. I thought they were paid so much more money than
You
they
did
are.
say their work is not as important as microbiologists.
I will still somewhat stand behind that.
I would say that marine biology and microbiology go hand in hand
To an
so
extent.
so often.
To an extent, yeah,
You know how
absolutely. Well, because a lot of things that live in the
microscopic
ocean
particles live in the ocean.
Yeah,
you know how much we can learn from those things?
Well, we can learn from those things.
These
but
are living beings that have physical abilities that we could only dream to adapt and build and...
Well, I agree, but how does discovering that exists help us get there?
Because we draw from animal life for a lot of modern day prosthetics.
How does discovering things help us learn things? Is that
Well,
what
no,
you're
we
asking
can
me?
learn things, but I'm saying looking at this little tiny microbe of a being survive in this ocean, what do we pull from that helps us?
What do you mean, what do we pull?
Other than just knowing now that it exists.
But, there's a lot of stuff in modern medicine, and like I said, again, prosthetics that comes from the kingdom.
Animal kingdom, yeah, but not
That
so much
includes the
ocean.
ocean.
Not so much ocean life as
Ocean life is some of the longest living life on Earth. That's what we learn from them.
well that they're
That
long living.
regenerating like that. I mean, there's a species of jellyfish
These are
that lives forever.
These are the abilities that I'm talking about that we attempt to try to learn and possibly adapt off of and
Wonderful.
recreate.
And where have we gotten from there?
A lot of research.
whole
They're
lot
working
farther.
on it.
Well, a lot, but they're working on
Patience,
it. But that's what I'm
Jesus.
talking about.
It's taking them so long, they might as well give up.
No. Okay, so clearly this is a 2 against 1, but at least let me explain my point here.
I can mediate.
Microbiologists every day are creating something new to help humanity, and they are creating vaccines. They're
the last
creating
3 days, what were the last 3 inventions?
You can't add. What was the last 3 things a microbiologist did in the last?
I
3
didn't.
days?
I didn't make a claim. I didn't make that claim.
I'm not.
You did.
I'm not.
You said every single day.
Yeah, there's microbiologists right now working on a vaccine for COVID-19.
There's marine biologists right now working on.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's
So
move
are you
forward with
saying-
what I was saying before I get interrupted again.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I feel like we see the results from microbiologists much quicker than marine biologists. And under the assumption that marine biologists were making hundreds of thousands of dollars, I was like, I feel like that funding could go towards things that will actively help us right now, rather than worrying about, like, maybe sometime in the future we find this deep sea creature that we can extract some kind of cell from that helps regenerate human limbs. You know, I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but under the assumption that they were making this large sum of money, in my mind, that seemed like too much money to be funding towards something that's not helping us progress in the moment, in the society we're living in currently. You know, so...
Well, look at it this way. You know, the root of marine biology means you have to get to a lot of very deep locations a lot of times.
Right.
If you don't have, like... Because you have all this kind of, like, marine life, like dolphins and stuff that's easily captured more towards the surface. But I think what a lot of the, like, really intricate, interesting stuff from marine biology comes from down in the deep, that dark part of the ocean where all this crazy stuff
Right.
happens that no one ever knows.
Yeah.
So to get down there alone, no matter why you're going, is already it's an incredible journey to make.
Yeah.
To create the kind of, like, submarine that can handle that kind of pressure with all that technology to go down there and just
Right.
go deep and dive, because it's just caves and trenches and it goes on forever. There's so, like, I feel
Right,
like
we
we
know
don't
more
think
about-
about how much water there is on this
No,
earth
we
compared
don't.
to the land itself.
Right,
So there's
right.
it just goes and
It's-
it goes and it goes. And so when you're down there and you're looking for these microbes and stuff that you can learn from and maybe discover and this and that, then you're down in the depths of places where people have never been or people might have been, and you learn things. Like they just found in the Mediterranean Sea, they just found old in contact Greek ships
I heard
that
about
have
that.
just hanging out down
Yeah.
there that are just like because of something in the water. I probably should have paid more fucking
Right.
attention to what I was reading,
Right,
but
right,
something
right,
in the
right.
water is like scaring away the life that would come and break down the wood and stuff inside the water. So it's just been hanging out down there. Like, that's crazy. You
crazy.
learn all kinds of really good stuff like that. And you, okay, maybe it's not curing COVID, but there's all kinds of things you can learn about not only historical events, but just what's going on with the environment. We got a lot of crazy things going on with climate change recently.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw a fucking like a time lapse of the polar ice caps from the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And it made me nauseous, and every year going by, I kept thinking like,
melting
all right, it's gonna stop now, right? It's gonna stop, right?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And then it just goes to this little blob of white towards the top, and it's like, all right, maybe I'm gonna recycle and stuff.
That's what.
While we're
It's
talking about
kind of nauseating, but
those ships sound really cool. I actually just read an article last night
About
about
the analog computer.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll touch on that after.
Okay, there was a theme park or something that was in I think Florida or Georgia, and it was abandoned, and someone went in there and just discovered a shark in one of the things. It was a dead shark that they were keeping there for something or other. It was a dead great white shark that they named Rosie, and now she's on display in a museum. She was a perfectly preserved great white shark that was kept in one of the tanks at this.
Oh my god!
This
was
old,
it like a kind of like a SeaWorld like park, like where they?
I think something like that. Like they didn't have. I'm not sure, but they didn't have like sharks there. It was just like they had like a tank and there was a dead shark, and they're like, well, we can keep this dead shark here for something or other. I don't know where I didn't read too much into it, which I or at least I did, and
as far as you could tell, the shark was not supposed to be there though.
No, it was. So when the place was open, there was a dead shark, and they were like, well, we have this empty tank, we can keep that here while we're waiting for it to be on display or something. I think it was special because it was so perfectly preserved. And then the place closed down, and they just left it there. And then someone found it, and they were like, holy fuck, that's a great white shark floating in front of me. And they called the authorities, and then now it's on display.
Wow.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm looking it up right now.
I was reading. It might have been on those Greek ships that were discovered, or it could be a different story or article I learned about. But a ship was discovered, and on the ship they found this really odd device. And for a long time, nobody thought anything about it because they didn't really test it. It was discovered way back, and then up into oh my god, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
Could you imagine seeing that, not expecting it to be there? Yeah, no way. But anyways, on the ship, this device, they couldn't figure out what it was. They didn't think much of it. And then it was way later when we had the technology that we did an ultrasound on the device to figure out what the inside of it looked like, because we were trying to preserve it. We didn't want to pull it apart.
Right.
They wanted to look at what the inside of it looked like, and they recreated a modern model of it. And it turned out it was one of the world's first analog computers that would work as a calendar and predict climate. And
That's insane.
Yeah, and it was just this weird box with a whole bunch of gears on the inside and a big old crank on the outside of it, and they determined that with the use of this they could determine climate patterns and what day of the year it was using this big giant contraption. It was just so bizarre, because I feel like there was so much wiped out, especially with the what was that library that burned?
Julius Caesar's library.
Yeah, and they think that we would have been like hundreds of years ahead of where we are technologically if that library never burned down.
Actually, wait, no. I think Julius Caesar was the one that burnt the library.
Yeah, I don't remember what library it was, but
Julius Caesar's
right. But anyways,
someone should stab that guy.
And,
that's really great, but I almost laughed when you were telling me about that because I just thought about that. I don't even know if it's a meme. I feel like it was a real news clip, but that one of like they got that fossilized or fossilized whatever that body, and they did like a 3D rendition of the vocal cords. Yeah, just this one noise, and it's like
that's all I can get from it. It's just scream.
You imagine how excited those scientists were to like learn something. Like maybe we'll get some kind of peek into the past, and it's just especially if he's dead. That kind of makes perfect sense. That might be
that was
one
the
of his,
last
one of
sounds
his latter
that came
sounds.
out of him. Yeah. Anyways, I guess to circle back around, I was wrong about microbiology. Okay, or marine biology.
Maybe,
but
maybe you were just ignorant, like the rest of us, when it comes to marine biology, because I feel like none of us clearly knew enough to really argue on the topic.
I guess I was just angry because I had seen
a whale.
I saw a whale and I was like, you know what? Fuck the ocean, man.
Why are we paying attention to this?
Who cares?
What has that whale done to earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a year?
Did he cure COVID?
No, but my fiance had told me that.
But he's never seen a microscope. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. My fiance had told me that this couple had bought a house. And the house was like a $1.2 million home. And when she asked what they did, the wife was a gluten-free vegan baker, and he was a marine biologist. And they afforded a $1.2 million home. So I guess in my head, all I could think was like, boy, neither of those jobs seem like they should be able to pull a $1.2 million house. But that's what started my opinion on like marine biologists they seem like they're making a
vegan baker.
Yeah, and I don't think for any certain company, I think she just bakes outside of her home and people buy through maybe reference. There was no context to who her audience is.
A poor person eating very much of that bakery food.
No, right. You're probably right. Yeah. You're probably right. But anyways, that's what sparked it. And then we got into the topic of Trevor also mentioned the NFL. And I think
you're justified for
NFL players are paid way too much money.
I am going to be one of your biggest advocates.
Yeah, I think they're paid way too much money. I think Tom Brady made $23 million in one season.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. How much he gets paid more than the president of the United States. That is appalling.
What do I gotta kiss my kid? Give
right.
me that money.
Honest to God. Well, pucker up, pal.
I hate Tom Brady.
Hey, you're next, buddy. Yeah, no.
Does that make me look bad for hating what is widely considered as the GOAT of a sport?
No.
No, he's a kid kisser.
Okay. No, but I do believe that they're paid way too much, and I believe that industry, especially being funded, is just one of the most ridiculous things to me. And Trevor made a point, we need entertainment as people, and I absolutely agree with that statement. Entertainment is one of the only distractions that humans can find away from struggle,
Yeah, but we're also paying them as if the
world would die without them.
Not saying acting and singing and dancing and playing football isn't hard.
Right.
We are paying them like it's hard to fucking do.
Right,
like,
exactly.
We can't get anybody to play this football game. Right. Come on, guys.
Right.
All right. How about six figures?
Right. Of course,
Come on.
And even if they lose, they're making that much money.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad at the thing that they're being paid to do, they still get so much money.
Same thing with like MMA. Like you get your ass handed to you, you're still getting thousands.
Exactly.
And thousands
right.
of dollars.
MMA, I feel like it's just a tad more justified because you come away from that with months of recovery needed afterwards. And there are some football players that have died. I'll say that, but usually in just your
shows that the majority of football players have long-lasting issues from playing for just up to a year.
Exactly. And then all of that money goes to their wives and their kids, and it's just like there's so much money there that could have been used to progress our economy, but it's all just being dumped into entertainment.
While we're on the topic of football, I read a very interesting fact earlier. The juice, OJ?
Yes, absolutely. The glove doesn't fit.
Yeah. I could talk about OJ for so long. You'd think the most busy day for Domino's would be like a big...
Like a football day.
Yeah, like the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But up to record, in Domino's history, not one Super Bowl has surpassed the day that O.J. Simpson was in that police car chase live on TV. That's
a fact?
Highest. That was the highest rate for Domino's delivery ever
way.
so far. And that blows my mind because every year there's a Super Bowl.
Right.
The people don't just stop getting pizza, but this was an event so important that people are like, I'm not fucking leaving this TV screen.
Wow.
Somebody's bringing me food because I'm not leaving this fucking TV screen. Order a pizza right now because this he's going 20 miles an hour on the highway with
insane.
like 15 cop cars behind him. We're going to be here a while.
While we're talking about the Super Bowl and giant TV events, there's a fun fact about Elvis that I know. He performed the 1973 Aloha from Hawaii special on the day of the Super Bowl. So they didn't air it the same day. They aired it in March. And on that day that it aired in March, 1.5 billion people tuned in. It's the single most tuned into program in the world.
Oh my
ever.
God.
And that was 30% of the total world population tuned in to watch Elvis live.
They were smart to move that to a different day.
Wow.
Very smart.
1.2 billion people.
That would have been a poor turnout. For
That was in the
Super
70s,
Bowl.
you said?
Yeah,
So
1973.
our population was way smaller than
Like,
too.
yeah, like I said, I did the math for back then. It was like 30% roughly.
That, oh my gosh,
But
dude.
you also
That's,
think about events like that held so much more weight because
well, because
there was
you're
no
right.
internet, there was no cell phone.
Yeah,
there was
so it was
just,
like you
a
get to
TV
see
program
this,
is
right.
A big deal.
You get to see this without actually being there. That was a huge deal for them back then.
Yeah, so like gathering around the TVs, like that's something you gotta be there.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also a commodity that's been around for a lot longer than that, though, because people were tuning into baseball games on their radio when the radio was invented. You know,
True.
So it's like,
That's
but this
probably
is
a big thing. A big part of it was like TV had just exploded.
Yeah, and
it
it was the
now
king.
A, yeah,
you know?
now a normal thing. It wouldn't have happened that way in the 50s
Right.
or even in the 90s when it was so mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, there's other things on TV. It was probably largely due to like the few amount of programs.
He chose
that
a
actually
good
had.
time
Yes.
to do that.
And baseball plays like what every day, every other day.
Right, yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get the king swinging
Right.
his hips in Hawaii just
You're
every
right.
other day. And especially like that, you couldn't just go to YouTube and be like, I want to look at how he did in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
It's you really gotta take appreciation.
No kidding.
Are you still? What are you still?
I'm reading about Rosie the Shark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
It is fucking intriguing. So this goes back to 1998.
Okay.
Like the shark's been there since that time?
Yeah, she
Oh
died
my
in
God.
1998. And she got caught in a tuna fishing net in Australia and was put down.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
was born in '98.
Nice.
Congratulations.
And so
I'm that.
are
Shark.
you her?
Rosie?
And so that same year she was purchased by a zoo/theme park called Wildlife Wonderland, and they wanted to display her and sell tickets to see her. But that same year she was impounded by the Australian government because it was suspected that she may have eaten a missing woman.
Oh my
And
God.
therefore an autopsy needed to be done. But no human body parts were found. The shark was stuffed, preserved in formaldehyde, and then released. And then she was put on display.
Classic Rosie.
Yeah, and stayed there. She was put on display at that zoo at Wildlife Wonderland and stayed there until 2012 when the park closed down, and they just left her there.
My mind
So-
is still boggling on the fact
My-
that an entire government had a bounty on a shark.
Right. But not
And
only
it was in a
that.
different country.
Right.
Not only that, but the way they decided to display the shark was leaving it dead and suspended in water. They did. They didn't take it out and like put it in a mold or like dry it out and then preserve it with formaldehyde or something like that. They just put it in water and left it there just to float along so people could look at it.
And so there's this guy, Luke. Oh, go ahead.
It's the same effort as me getting a goldfish and then when it dies, just being like, knick-knack.
Everybody, look at this.
In 2018, there was a YouTuber who would like explore abandoned places and was exploring that and found Rosie
No way.
just fucking
man.
floating there.
How long? Oh, if he never discovered that, how long do you think that shark would have been there?
Oh, I don't know.
That is
But
insane to me that they just left
and
it
then
there.
the video went viral, and then other people started going and finding it, and people tried to vandalize it and like smash the glass and shit.
Oh my god!
But,
Why?
They didn't smash the glass, but they did do enough damage to allow carcinogenic formaldehyde vapors to leak, and then the police barricaded the property and ordered Rosie to be destroyed. But the internet.
Destroyed. This is too dangerous for the public.
So the internet banded together with a hashtag Save Rosie the Shark, and they saved her. And then she was transported to the Crystal World property, looks like, where they worked hard to clean and restore the tank, and of course preserve the shark. And then
Did you say there was a hashtag?
there was, hashtag Save
Save
Rosie the Shark. And that's about the
The
story of
dead
Rosie the Shark.
shark.
For
I
the
found
most
the
part.
title for this episode.
Rosie the shark.
And I just showed you the pictures.
So
like,
where's Rosie?
Yeah,
now?
she was creepy. It looked
Yeah.
like a goblin shark,
shit like
honestly.
that.
Where's Rosie?
Oh
now,
my
you said?
gosh, dude, that's so like cynical.
Crystal. I don't remember what. I scrolled away.
Wow.
I hope it's not like a place that'd be
Crystal World.
Crystal World.
Yeah.
Any
look
more
at that
information?
That's
Just Crystal
that's
World.
so scary.
Imagine coming
Suppose I could
across
Google
that
it.
shit.
No, thank you.
Weston, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Do you believe, like, obviously, I don't want to assume what you believe, but
There's-
when I
yeah.
say you believe in aliens, like, you believe in life in the universe. You don't
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
in little
absolutely,
green
I
people
do.
among us.
No, absolutely I do. I do believe that there are. It's gonna sound weird in this where you might be caught off guard, but I do believe that they are here.
Yeah.
But we don't know it. And we probably won't ever know it. And there's. I vary when it comes to this kind of stuff because I believe that they're here already, but I also believe that they're infinitely throughout the universe. Because it's a pretty well known fact. We actually know more about space than we do the ocean.
Yeah.
But
Better maps of the moon and
Right.
Mars than the ocean.
right. And under that, we've seen the infinite images of where we stand in this universe. We're just a grain of salt compared to the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think to think that there aren't living things out there is ignorant.
Yeah.
I think it's like, why is it there? There's got to be planets
says
out
something
there
about
that
the
that
person
habitat
thinking it.
right, that are habitable for some other species that evolved as humans did. And it's just like it's got to be out there. I think that there's a 0% chance that it's not out there. We just have yet to discover it.
This is a topic that I usually try to stray away from just because...
I don't think we really should be looking into it too much. It's not really curing COVID.
Right, yeah, absolutely not. Let's not fund this, okay?
But mostly just because like it's one of those topics that I feel like is just beat to death, and like what can you really say about aliens
yeah.
anymore?
Yeah.
But
Question's too big to ask.
I bring it up now just because of the article that probably a ton of people have seen by now about that scientist that came out of Jerusalem that said that not only do aliens exist and we're in contact with them, but there's an alien galactic federation out there amongst the universe.
Really?
And that we have made contact with them and they've decided that we're not ready to handle that information. He came out
Really?
and said this. He is the... I probably should have... there's one of those where you probably should have read more before you go into a podcast talking
Right.
about it. But from what I know, he was like the head of their like space research, whatever, in Israel and Jerusalem, and he's retired now. He's old. He's like 70 something. So it's not
Right.
completely unfounded that what he's saying is absolute just hysteria.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are holding weight to it because of what his position was and
Right.
the kind of
Well,
like, space
absolutely.
research.
And there's
stuff.
also a lot of speculation that Israel is like the center end all be all for a
Yeah,
lot of
so
this
that
kind of
a
stuff.
lot of people
you
are using that as a point too. Because
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't like you'd think
the
in
scientist is coming out of this tiny country compared to
the
the
oldest
entire
known
world.
civilization
Right.
that we can possibly talk
Date
about.
back to
Yeah.
absolutely. That's kind of crazy, and I think also a big point out too is that our technology is advancing so much that we no longer have those like really shitty like 10 pixel framed cameras to like try and capture what we think is a UFO in the sky.
Yeah.
And the government's like, oh, sorry, that was one of our test planes. Now we've got this really high definition film work to be like, that's not from here.
It almost
And then
plays
the government's
opposite way though, because then you have almost twice as much of false UFO footage.
Well,
because
right,
of
but
people
you-
being like, "There's a light up there."
Right.
You remember earlier this year when the government was straight up like,
came
oh
out
yeah,
about
there's like UFOs out there, like shit that we
Yeah.
don't know what's going
Yeah.
on.
Right.
And
I think,
and
yeah.
everyone was like, nah.
Right, and that's because so many other things were happening.
Yeah.
It just kind of waved over. It was like, of course that's going to happen now.
That's why I think this article itself about the Galactic Federation
it's
is so
crazy.
interesting, because you have like the world split in half of people being like,
Oh
"Oh
my
my God, it's here! Finally, some information about
Right.
life forms," and then the other half of the world that's like, hey, "Yeah, we've been hearing about aliens since fucking Roswell.
Right.
This is not new." They're like, "Oh yeah, there's aliens. Oh, the government's lying to you."
Right.
Whatever, they're doing the hand jerks.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. So do you think... Okay, so we're going to play into it for a minute.
Sure.
There is a Galactic Federation, right?
Mhm.
Do you really think that they would have that kind of superiority to only let certain ones of us know that they exist and make that decision to be like, the rest of you just won't handle it well if you knew.
Well, I think that's kind of out of our control. We can't. If they have the technology to hold and govern a galactic, federation
before they come to
right. There is so much there that we won't know, even if they did come forward and we're like, we exist. There would be still, we would not be able to be filled in on this because this is it's like the human race, except a completely different human race. And just imagine the history that we have now, we can barely comprehend that. Yeah. So trying to comprehend an entirely other race that has evolved and has their own history books, there's no way we'd be able to just approach that all at once.
Think about, because we have that, even if the Galactic Federation is totally fabricated, we have stuff going on like that right now. There are tribes that are untouched by modern civilization that we're like, don't fucking touch them! Don't touch them, don't interact with them at all.
Right.
And
that's a very good point.
Yeah, there are people like fly planes over them, and there's just fucking arrows all in the bottom of the plane. But so we have stuff like that here. So I totally understand why, if someone were so much more advanced, they would look at us and be like,
they're not
either
ready.
Socially or technologically, you're just not ready.
I'm sure a lot of that's based on religion too, because they would have absolutely no patience for religion.
Or they have their own religion.
Wait.
I'd say if
how
they
mind-boggling is it if they have the same religion? they're
then oh my god, so many people.
Jesus.
that Christianity is a thing, or whatever religion they chose, whatever they have. If
they're getting the same information, absolutely.
That's the proof that the universe has always been looking for.
Yeah. Right.
But I feel like then there's always going to be deniers. But I feel like that's definitely the main reason they look at us and they know, just based on how we treat each other in relation to...
Oh, absolutely. It takes one look at the United States.
They look at our media. Yeah,
really.
They look at our media. They look at the people who are really full-fledged into religious things like that, and how they react to not only things that contradict it, but people who are trying to spread things that contradict it. So just the existence of an alien that's like, who's Jesus? That's going to piss a bunch of people on Earth off. So an intelligent life form would look at that and the cultures that we have created and what could go wrong. And I don't doubt them for fucking rolling up the windows when they go by.
And it might, and from the exactly. And from the other perspective, what if they have their entire own religion and then they see us and we have our own religion? They might be thinking like, oh, there's no way we're going to get involved with that, because I don't know if I would want to get from a distance. I'll acknowledge that they're there, but to get involved with something like that is too much, I think, for the human mind to grasp. It would take years and years and years of us slowly progressing into getting to know this completely other race. It couldn't happen all at once. It would need to be super, especially because they have the technology now to just be in space. Yeah. They can pinpoint us and communicate with us. They are so much more advanced than we are. We're not going to understand anything that's going on there anyways. So they probably don't. We're pretty stupid in compared to them if that's real.
I want to do some role playing. You ever do role playing, Weston?
When I was like 5. Fireman.
You want to do some what playing, John? How old are you?
No, I'm trying to.
I am going to be the not like the overlord or anything. I'm going to be the official speaker for the Galactic Federation.
Sure.
Coming to Earth for the first time.
And who am I?
And you will be
Steve.
Hey, I'm Steve.
Why not just go to...
Just shoot me. That's all you needed to know.
Since we're in America and Americans are generally self-centered, we'll just say you're the president of the United States.
Okay, great.
And I go to you first,
who am I?
And you can be the vice president.
Yeah!
Do you want to be the president?
No, that's okay.
So, without letting anybody know, aliens are mythology, and I beam down through the ceiling, because I have that technology.
Of course, absolutely.
I beam down into the Oval Office, and you two are hard at work sitting there.
Yeah.
And I come before you.
Right, after I clean myself and change my pants, I can talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I help with that.
Here absolutely. I am. I don't say anything. and I'm standing in front of you, what's your first reaction? I'm just down into your
I look
office.
up from my desk. I stare you in the eyes.
Okay.
All right, what's all this then?
Right. What's all this then? Just barely lift your head. Just your eyes do most of the work. You're like, right.
I don't think I would have anything to say to you. I think I would just be starstruck. If
what
I'm
would you say? Sup, dog?
right back from all space already.
Yeah, you're the president of the United States, and
Well, but that
I'm
doesn't
clearly
give-
not human.
But
Well,
that
he's
doesn't
got a
give
lot on
me
his plate.
right. That doesn't give me any
I've seen
authority.
this man work.
You know, to
but I as far as you know, you're the president. You're supposed to be the most well-informed person on the planet, theoretically.
yeah. If I wasn't split up between like my
Yeah.
entire cabinet,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as far as you know, no one else on Earth has come in contact with aliens, and here they are right in front of
Beaming
you.
into my
Yeah.
office.
So what do you say before they have a chance to say anything?
But who are you and why are you here?
Okay.
I feel like that's like the most straightforward, basic. That's the information I need immediately. So that's the question I'm going to ask you.
Okay. And
Do I get a chance to say something?
yeah,
too?
go ahead.
Absolutely.
You know what a jungle gym is?
Oh, what are some? What do you think? Got him.
So
You want to try this great human dish? It's called cheese from
Munda.
Munda.
I was just thinking of Ligma. Get him right off the bat. Introduce him to human culture
Dude,
so
Ligma.
quick.
fucking
Oh my
nuked.
God.
Just gonna get nuked just because of all the just like there's
Is this
no...
because of Ligma?
Teach them how to read, and you're like, all right, good. Spell I cup.
What is Ligma?
I go back and report. There's not worth the time putting into that civilization.
No.
They
Yeah.
can't
No,
take
you don't gotta
anything
say.
seriously.
No. Anyways,
no.
what's your reply
So
here?
my first reply, I guess, would be yeah.
Clearly.
Clearly,
Clearly.
Geonosian.
Like my balls.
Gesundheit.
No, greetings. I am from the Galactic Federation.
Oh man, I would love to say that it would go so well, but we'd probably take it in containment. If it was like any other president has run, we would need
He would
to.
just beam away.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that in mind, if you make a muscle towards me, I immediately zapped back to.
Oh, okay. Greetings.
Yeah, I'm not going in blind.
Gone.
Just like
Okay.
Greetings. I'm just like running towards it as fast as I can. Fucking diesel.
Diesel.
Fast twitch muscle fiber and angst.
Finally.
Finally, his life has become special after years of neglect.
Oh.
That fucking Joe Rogan bit.
the
play
aliens
that
not
in
like
this.
looking at the civilization and like, well, they're not killing each other. It must be safe for me, this
Right.
like weird green big-headed being
Right.
to just beam down.
I think I would need to call in the most important people that needed to see you, so you could start telling us what's happening.
Oh yeah, because if
You
you
know.
only appeared to him, and then the president of the United States went out and was like, "Fucking aliens!"
I'm gonna get voted out, right? There's fucking aliens in there.
did not handle that well. He
Yeah, right.
immediately ran out of the room.
Right. So I think I would have to
The
get.
front line.
I need my administration in the room with me,
Okay.
and then I would just ask you to please start talking, and so I could figure out what was going on. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable response to that.
Okay.
To not just immediately attack you, because I
Yeah.
think that's the most redundant thing on the planet. Like
Right.
in all alien movies, they always bring the military. Like that's gonna do anything, and there's a missile firing at like a legitimate ray gun, and it's just like, do you think you're gonna win?
Have you seen fucking what was that movie called? Like Invaders from Mars or something like that. They
Mars
have-
Attacks.
Mars Attacks. And they keep
It's a
showing up
great
and having
film.
like peace talks.
Yeah.
And like they'll unleash some birds, and the aliens will look at the birds and start killing everybody. They're like, oh, sorry, that's a sign of war on our planet.
I cannot recommend this film enough. To
Really?
you.
It's
It is.
bad.
It's
It's hilariously
it's
bad.
Excellent.
It's okay.
It's
Just watch The
amazing.
Mist.
I don't know what year it came out. Oh, The Mist is good
So
too.
stupid. It's the
The
stupidest movie
version,
on
right?
the planet. Yes.
I love that. They all
No.
end in the car.
Yeah, it ends in the car,
I love
but
that
that's
movie.
the thing.
I love that
I think that's
movie.
how people imagine it going. If we were actually attacked by another race, at the end of the film, the military just shows up and they just boop. They just go away. That's it. That's the whole movie is this huge anticipation leading up to our military coming in and the mist disappearing. It's the stupidest thing on the planet. There are these giant killer monsters, and they see a gun, and they're like, and they just leave.
I assume you've both seen Man of Steel.
Absolutely.
Because that one's got some
yeah.
fun. Like, that just diminishes that argument right there. Because, like, they get him captured, and then she's like, why are you in handcuffs? And he's like, it makes him feel better. And they start threatening him, and he just, like, stands up and just breaks the handcuffs as if he didn't even have anything there, you know? I feel like that's how aliens would go, is, like, we would start threatening the shit out of him, and they'd be like, all right.
Right.
I got here. Does that not tell you how much better I am than you?
Right.
So I'd say immediately, based off of your response so far, I don't think you should be the president anytime, Weston. Right. Like, at any point.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things I think you
could
can do.
I be the vice president?
So far, you haven't done anything wrong. Except for like, bum rush the alien.
Wait, what did I do wrong?
I'm bum rushing to welcome him.
I wouldn't say you've done anything necessarily like wrong in like you took the wrong direction. You haven't done what's.
I'm sick of it.
I wouldn't say you've done what's right yet because I've been in your office 2 minutes.
John, I didn't know this was a test.
We're role playing.
I didn't study for your stupid role play.
Shut up about the role play. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Okay, so we'll get back into it. Okay, I'll restart. Okay. I am with the Galactic Federation.
What is the Galactic Federation?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I'm figuring it out.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I love that. He's like, this is vice president.
You seeing this? You get the next one. Okay.
So the alien says, we are a coalition of multiple systems conjoined together as a large governmental property to enforce peace and security to this galaxy.
Wonderful. I want you on my side. America wants you on its side.
That's great, but you're going to be on our side.
Oh.
You're gonna be under our jurisdiction if we agree to anything.
Well, we're
so
gonna
see how the Federation. You will answer to the Federation,
right? So we're gonna have to talk policy with the Federation.
Yeah,
and figure out what we can and cannot do.
We'll probably fax it over.
Sure. You got one of those? You got one of the everything you've taken from the human race. Well, we got a fax. Fax machines are genius. Write that down.
In the Federation, wrist fax machines are standard issue. Okay. So
wrist
everyone
fax.
has, so like immediately send documents anywhere you need to go. So
WRAX. Rax. It's my wrist fax machine.
Mom, I'm going to school. Okay, did you get your racks?
Oh, God.
Hi, Mr. Rax.
John Rax.
John Rax.
My name's and my life is kind of crazy. Oh my God! So you're gonna fax
the Federation
me over.
will send you how this, basically the rundown of how this is gonna go.
I'm not going anywhere, right? I can take off my ruse.
You sure can.
My wrist shoes.
Oh God! I hate that. How would that work?
Wrist shoes.
I don't know how that works.
Low gravity, I'd say.
Little treads on your wrist.
Oh God! So under this role play, do you know what those policies are, or is this just I have
so
to
basically,
agree or disagree?
To be part of the Federation, you have to not only carry your weight and figure out what your planet's most valuable resource is, and that resource will become your planet's commodity, and you will have a yearly quota for production on supplies and materials that your planet produces.
And do they decide what is valuable or not? Because we don't know what they consider valuable.
Yeah. You have to figure out what you can yield the most of that we would actually use.
Oil. Fucking oil.
We have far expanded past the use of fossil fuels.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Honestly, we laugh at you guys for still using fossil fuels.
We have this cool shark.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Rosie? She's great.
We actually have, there's a large section of the Federation that's like hybrid between the shark species and your species.
Great.
And they have full human and other life form rights.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Federation rights is what we
Meet
call
one of them
them.
someday. Nice.
Yeah,
Federites.
Federites. Thank you.
Federation.
I like this guy.
Yeah, the Federites
This
are
your
the
VP?
people. She
He's
sure
quick.
is. I
He's
know.
quick.
Hey, can I get a
Keeps me on my
Rex?
toes.
Somebody get this guy a Rax. I'm gonna give you my Rax number. Let's keep in touch.
Sure, but under that, I would need to look at the policy and every clause under that policy, because I don't want to become a slave to the Federation, where you guys end up just using us for our materials and that's it. We
Well,
need a
You see,
custom
Mr.
life of
President,
living.
I'm so glad you brought that part up too, because you actually, like I said, we're gonna send you the guidelines of the Federation.
Sure.
And any attempt to not follow the guidelines is just gonna take as desertion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there punishment for desertion?
evaporation.
I
Well,
figured
okay,
as
so it's
much.
join or die.
Yes.
Well, clearly I'm gonna join because I have no other choice. Because I'm not gonna wipe out an entire race of species.
Multiple races. The
well,
Federation,
yeah.
remember?
Well, right, yeah. I'm not gonna wipe out an entire planet worth of species under the idea that it might not turn out 100% how I want.
Okay.
I figure that's best, unless you guys just enslave all of the human race.
No, that we just evaporate, just kind of like Death Star. Just
Oh no, I'm talking if we join under the Federation.
join. No, you have complete and total like.
Like it's like business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual.
Great.
As long as you pull your weight in the Federation.
Absolutely, sure. Then I'll
What
absolutely
does
join.
pulling your weight entail?
Just giving them, I imagine, the resources that they consider valuable.
Yeah, we
to
will
them.
set the quota based off of your planet's size and population, and the commodity itself.
Sure. Okay. Who's at the head of this Federation?
That's Blorgston.
9.
Yeah.
You know who's at the head of that Federation? Hitler never killed himself.
Oh God! Hey,
I'm so sorry.
he just went above and beyond. He's like, fuck it.
No.
These guys aren't taking
Actually-
my ideas. I'll find someone else.
It did go that way for a while, and I think you'd like this actually, because Hitler's actually the VP now.
Oh.
Blorgston won in the last election.
Wow.
Yeah, so it goes Blorgston, Hitler.
Give me a handshake for me.
Yeah.
Tell him I say congratulations.
Of course. I'll just give you his Rax number.
Perfect.
So this is going to work out great.
I think so.
Welcome to the Federation.
Thank
I'll
you.
shake your hand.
Absolutely.
I'll shake your hand.
I'll shake your hand.
Absolutely.
And
Peace among worlds.
Peace among worlds.
thanks for staying behind, guys. You know, it's really no problem, dog. I did not have much interest in a Moltreverse sexy calendar photo shoot. I concur. Trevor Cop informs me that being in front of one of these cameras for too long gives one a ravenous thirst for orphan tears. That's not true. Anyway, our next Trevor is called Baby Big Brain Trevor. You know why they call him that? Not sure. But since Tie-Dye Trevor isn't here, this is a Trevor Porter. Okay? All you gotta do is flip the switch when the light blinks, and it'll bring me back. I'll do the rest.
Hey, bro, did I hit it?
Hit what? What are you talking about?
You know, bro, the disgusting thing in the middle of the road.
Oh God, was it like small, like a baby, but with like a giant brain?
Yes, bro, it was disgusting. I swear to God.
Oh, okay, well that's a strong word. I'm sure he was like probably handsome, you know, or like maybe in certain lights, like gorgeous.
No, bro, I swear to God, this is like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Damn it. That was a super intelligent version of me you just killed. What am I gonna do now?
Hey, man, don't put yourself down. Look, I mean, you gotta be at least, what, a C student?
All right, you're not helping. Why don't you just get out of here, okay?
Hey, bro, suit yourself. Hey, you know, smell you later.
I have some bad news. What's going on here? Are you gonna tell him? Or do I have to? Tell me what? You have to understand. Tie-dye, Trevor, tell me what? I shouldn't have kept it from you. I didn't want to keep it from you. I couldn't afford for you to say no. Get to the point. It's just that...
Hey, I heard you, Listen, I just want to know if it's true.
Come inside and have a look for yourself. Last door on the left.
Holy hell. How is this even possible?
All in good time, my friend. We're fighting a Trevor?